All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to one more episode of Sundry's podcast. This is episode number 11, where me and Dave will be talking about India tour of South Africa, the ODI series and Test series. India won the ODI series 2-1 and drew the Test series. It had a lot of interesting games and also a lot of interesting talking points. So, what do you think about the ODI series first, Dave?
Hey everyone. So yeah, ODI series was definitely fun. I think India just continued what they were doing in the ODI World Cup here as well. They dominated even away from home in a couple of games. Of course, we lost one of the game, but I don't think in that game we were technically outplayed. So just keeping the second game aside, the other two games we India seriously outplayed South Africa, especially in the first game. Considering our key players were not available and we were playing with new captains and everything, it was really good to see that the young players stepped up. That's my overall take from it. We can go one by one if you know each game.
Yeah, we can go game by game. Like you said, it was completely dominating performance in the first and the last ODIs, and like you said, it was not our full strength team. I think a lot of our World Cup players were missing. Only a few of them were there. Rahul, Iyer, Kuldeep Yadav. It was a new look squad, and a lot of youngsters played really well, especially Sai Sudarshan.
Mhm.
Very impressive in the first two games. I think he's making his debut for India. 50 in the first game, backed up by another 50. He looks like a solid player, very solid player.
I definitely had high hopes for him, especially as we always refer to, at least I always refer to Ashwin's video on this channel. So um, he always talks about Sai Sudarshan very highly for the last 2-3 years now. So every time I see him either play in IPL and or sometimes in India A or something, he's always done really well. And it wasn't surprising that he got a 50 on his debut. Very happy to see. Very promising young talent for sure. So I think I also, since both of us mentioned that it's a very young Indian team, we should also, say that even South Africa played a lot of young bowlers. Even though some of the batters are very uh, been there for a long time, but their Nandri Burger, especially, he another um, debut bowler who, uh, like every time whenever a bowler debut against India, Indian team struggles, and this was no different, especially from a left-arm fast medium against Indian batsmen, of course. What else is new?
Yeah, yeah. I was impressed by his bowling as well. Very decent young prospect. The other thing that I was impressed about was also Arshdeep Singh. He was man of the series, mind you.
Mm.
He bowled exceptionally well in the first game, 5 wickets in the first game, 4 wickets in the last game. Um, I've had my reservations about him,
Mm-hmm.
but as a new ball bowler, we've all seen his talent as a death bowler. He's exceptional in the death. I've had my doubts about him as a new ball bowler, if I'm being very honest. I see him as a good death bowler and maybe uh, T20 bowler, 4 over bowler, but he proved me wrong. He bowled exceptionally with the new ball in this series. I feel like he developed a lot more control with the new ball. When I saw him previously with the new ball, he was spraying here and there. He didn't have a lot of control, but in this series, his line and length was spot on, and he had developed a lot of control. That's what I saw from Arshdeep Singh. Very promising signs for us. And yeah, well deserved man of the series.
Yeah, I think even in the T20 series, we were a little harsh on him in the same channel, last episode. because of him being expensive in the initial overs. But in this series, as you mentioned, the first game he picked up 5-fer, in the last game 4-fer. In the second game, even though it was an easy win for South Africa, he was exceptional with his economy, right? I think he was less than 4 in that game as well.
Yeah,
So it was really good to see him stepping up when the team needed the most, considering he was the senior bowler, senior seam bowler, of course. So he definitely played really well. It was very good to see.
yeah.
It was uh, another thing that definitely surprised me was Indian players were able to keep both Klaasen and Miller under control almost the entire series. You know, that was really good to see because I
Hassan
was
Miller and
actually.
also Van der Dussen, if I may add. That was the middle order that made South Africa as successful as it was in the ODI World Cup and in this series. All three
Mhm.
of them, if I may add, Van der Dussen, Markham, and Klaassen and Miller did not have a big series, and that's probably why we were able to control the series really well.
So I personally had never. Okay, I have always heard how what a great player Van der Dussen is, but I maybe I personally don't remember any innings that he played really well, especially against India. He had done well against other teams. So since both Miller and Klaasen have dominated India and also in IPL, I was always afraid of them. I think that's why I pointed them out. But yeah, I think considering the age of Anderson, maybe in the next coming years he might be difficult for us to handle, I guess. Um, so yeah, apart from that, Kuldeep Yadav continued to continue his form, his purple patch in this series as well. I think he was the lead spin bowler. It was very good to see that he was able to deliver exactly what was expected of him. And
It's a really
it was.
heartwarming success story for Kuldeep. After all the doubts he had, he was a little expensive in a couple of years. People were
Mhm.
writing him off, and then the way he's come back is just brilliant. Um, Not only he's proving to be a wicket-taking bowler at crucial stages, but his economy has improved so much. He has much more control over his bowling, brings out the wrong one in the correct time, and his economy is what has impressed me. We've seen him go for runs in the past, even though he takes 4 wickets or 5 wickets, but his economy has improved so much. He's restricting the middle over so well. That's good to see.
Yeah, definitely. I think previously when he used to bowl with Chahal, Dhoni likes to use both of them together, and Chahal always goes for wicket, and if he gets the wicket, then Kuldeep bowls really well. If Chahal struggles, then Kuldeep struggles as well. That's how they were, that's how we've seen them. It is, and as soon as Chahal was out of the Indian team, and somehow it kept Kuldeep also out of the team. It was really good to see that he worked really hard for 2 3 years and then he made a comeback, and since his comeback he's been exceptional. um, so yeah, it is definitely, as you said, very heartwarming to see.
And then,
um,
of course, another heartwarming story is Sanju Samson finally getting his chance and finally 100.
yeah, I think is this his first century in
I think
ODI?
so. I think so.
Yeah, it was in that game when people were struggling. His 100 took India to dominating 298, 296. So that was very, I don't know, it was very good innings for sure. And he also played at a really good pace considering he came in at one down. It was necessary.
Yeah, very, very important innings for him. I think we know his talent. We've seen his talent in IPL. We've all been saying how talented batsman he is, but to finally see it on the international stage felt really good. Tilak Verma also played a couple of good innings.
Hmm.
So suddenly our Indian team's batting order seems to be dominated by left-handers. After a period of just one left-hander in the top seven or something like that, now we have so
Mhm.
many left-handed batting prospects coming.
We have so many left-hander batting options. I don't know whether
True.
they all makes the 11 in the next year or two. Maybe in the future, yeah, we it looks like we're gonna have at least three
Hmm.
left-handers in the top seven. Yeah, so I think
Other
even in
than that,
this, yeah,
sorry, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah. I was just checking the third game. The third game we had Sai Sudarshan, Tilak Verma, Riku Singh, Akshar Patel, Washington Sundar. That is five. That is
Yeah,
five left-hand batting options. That was excellent. Yeah,
yeah.
that's excellent.
Talking about left-handers, another left-hander that impressed me during the series was South Africa's Tony Dizorzi. Even in the first
Mm-hmm.
game, when not a lot of South Africans were able to get runs, he scored a really good 28. Followed it up with 100 in the second game, took the game away from us single-handedly, and in the
Mm-hmm.
third game as well, scoring 80. He looked like some player, very compact, and also had the big shots in him. I liked what I saw from him. Maybe a big prospect for South Africa in the future.
Yeah, I think I have never seen him before, so it was he was definitely new and eye-catching for me. I was definitely worried about Hendricks more than Tony, but it looked like it was him who took the entire um, South African team in this series, while the most expected player failed. You
Mm.
know,
I think we planned for Van der Dussen, Markram, Klaas, and Miller. Dizorzi came out of syllabus.
yeah,
Yeah,
Tony,
well, done. Good.
Tony Stark.
Well played. Good.
Yeah, really well done.
Kudos to him.
Hoping to see more of him probably in
Yeah,
the SA20 or something in the next week.
I, I think that's about it. I think well deserved win for us. I think we had our bases covered in the tournament. We had good batting performances, good bowling performances, and overall good outing for some of the what I may say B team players. Uh, we sent, of course, a second string squad, and they played really well.
Yeah, they definitely punched above their potential. I think we need to give some credit to KL Rahul as well,
Of course, yeah,
considering he is captaining after few failures as a captain for Team India. There were questions on his captainship, and his keeping has been it's it's been going up and up and up in every game, and even in the Test series, as we'll talk in the next section.
yeah,
His keeping has been excellent, and in this series, his captainship was very good. He was able to
uh,
use the bowlers properly,
yeah.
and
Very impressed with this captaincy, if I may say. I think he's realizing the fact that if he's not a specialist wicketkeeper, getting into the team might be increasingly difficult for him because we have a lot of middle order batsmen coming up, and we have a void, if I may say, in the wicket keeping area. So I think he's realized that, worked on his game, upped his wicket keeping, and very impressive captainship as well this series. Leading this team to a series win in South Africa is no mean feat, and congratulations to him. So let's move on to the Test series then, Dave.
yes, let's talk about it. I was a little disappointed after the first game, but it was an exceptional win in the second game, so that helped me forget the first game loss. Even
Mhm.
though a series win would have been awesome, but yeah, I overall, I'm definitely happy with the performance of most players. Maybe some players were disappointing, but uh, I didn't want to dwell on it. Overall, it was a very good series for Team India.
But yeah, definitely a very good series. I think we had a lot of good batting and bowling performances. Unfortunately, the thing is, they happened in two different games. If they had happened in the same game, we might have won the series. But I think two batting performances that I would like to talk about, which stood out from India's perspective, was KL Rahul's 100 in the first innings of the
Mm-hmm.
first test, and Virat Kohli's 70 in the second innings of the same test. But Let's talk about KL Rahul's 100 first. I think that was one of the finest innings I've ever seen KL Rahul play. Um, very composed, very compact. Even though wickets were falling around him, he batted with the tail, made sure he got 100 and took India to a decent total. I think we were in, you know, pretty much big trouble at one stage, but was able to bail us out of it and get us to a decent total. Very impressed with the way Rahul played.
Yeah, I think Rahul came in when Shreyas Iyer got out, right? So it was
Hmm.
92 for 4. And from there, he was just standing there on the other side. As you were saying, the wicket was keep on ticking and getting out. Um, I think I'm as you already talked a lot about Rahul. I would like to point out it was very well. He was very well supported by our Thailanders, even though not for
Hmm.
as long as we would have liked. But they gave enough support for him to get India to a decent total. And I think it was again Nandri Burger, right? So he started that collapse in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then Kohli and Shreyas definitely got us to a decent, run up. And from 24 for 3, we got it to 92. And from there, once we lost Shreyas and Kohli, it was definitely an uphill task from there. Unfortunately, Ashwin couldn't deliver in this game in both innings. But Thakur played really well. But Rahul, so when he scored his 100 with the six, that definitely put a smile on my face as I recalled the six that he hit against Australia in the World Cup, which helped him, which made him miss his 100. You know, I'm glad he made it count in here.
Yeah.
Even though it came on the losing Carson game, but it was very well played.
I think, yeah, I think Dean Elgar in his final test series, he's always been the thorn in our side. Whenever we go to South Africa, Dean Elgar's the guy who sticks around, plays long innings, and he played the same thing again. A huge 185, um, supported by Janssen as well, and Bedingham. I think those are the three players who made the scores that
And
took
who
took
took
them
his
to
wicket?
408. Lord,
The
I
partnership
I
breaker?
I honestly have mixed feelings about the bowling attack for that game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. It was
uh,
sad to
ho-
see.
yeah, just yeah. I mean,
I
there
think
is
I
no
had
support
mentioned
for
it.
Bumrah
Yeah,
that
go
game.
on.
No support for Bumrah that game. Dude was bowling his heart out. I mean, all three pacers did nothing. Yeah, I think they were very erratic in their lines and lines, very short at times. And once you had them at like 250 for five, we took quick wickets of Bedingham and Viren. At that point, I think with Janssen and the tail, we should have wrapped them up, not let them not let them get to 400 and 8. So I was very disappointed by the bowling performance because, uh, uh, um, mind you, this has been very rare. Whenever we go overseas, our bowling has been spot on. They've been brilliant. Very few performances like this in the recent past where they've looked clueless, where just someone has just taken the game away from them and they've not been able to take his wicket. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
So,
yeah.
so we have had times when maybe one or two particular players just outplay us,
Hmm.
the batsmen especially, but our bowlers were able to get the wickets down from other side, right? So something like that happened here as well, but unfortunately we couldn't get the wicket of Mark Janssen. And yeah, the that partnership between Yelger and Janssen definitely took the game away from us
Yeah.
completely. And as you mentioned, Bumrah played exceedingly well. His bowling was exceptional. Siraj did struggle a little bit, but it was both Thakur and Prashid who made it extremely easy for South Africa to
Yeah.
get that much lead.
Yeah.
It looked like they were bowling in ODI or something. That's what their economy rate. As you look at it, that's how it looks like. and Ashwin, if I think he tried to contain, but that's a maximum he was able to do. He couldn't get any. I think he mentioned that he couldn't extract that much spin that um, from the pitch, which was
Mhm.
expected as well. I think Jadeja was supposed to play that game supposedly, but he got some back spasms,
Yeah,
so they played Ashwin in the last minute. Uh, but with ball, I cannot complain about Ashwin. I think I was kind of disappointed with his innings in
batting
both innings with
definitely. Yeah,
bat,
yeah. But
considering
bowling
his
he tried. I think there
experience.
was no purchase for him in the pitch as well. There was no turn or anything that he could, uh,
Use it, yeah.
leverage to come into play. He bowled well. I think he mentioned that in his video as well. He was saying that the ball was coming out of his hand well, but we need to have some kind of assistance from the pitch. We'll talk about pitch later. We need to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Uh,
We'll talk about
yeah,
it.
but
So,
yeah, I think disappointing performance in the second innings, except for Kohli's brilliant innings. Yeah,
it looked like a phone
took
number.
me back to, yeah, it gave me flashbacks to the time when we used to go overseas and just you know just nick behind the wicket, get all out cheaply and get dominated, innings defeat. So that really threw me off. I was hoping for a comeback in the second game, but that innings
Second game or
defeat.
second innings?
No, second game. After the second innings, I was saying the second innings,
Oh, okay. Okay.
the manner with which we played. Remember those 4-0 whitewash series in England and Australia where it looked like our batsmen had nothing. Like looked like as though the bowlers had some superpowers, and just whenever they bowled, got us out. It
Hmm.
threw me back to those days where we had nothing except one lone fighter fighting to put some runs on the board. Yeah,
So I have a question. Maybe we can. This is a general question about test
yeah,
match. Maybe we can talk about this after the second game, or do you want me to ask now?
yeah. Ask it. I mean, we'll
So,
see.
do you think? Do you think it is too early for us to move on from Pujara and Rahane, or is it time? I'm not talking
Ah,
about their form. I'm not talking about their quality and all. I'm just talking about the the since we have two or three new players in the squad, at least in test format. Um, is it? Do you think it
I
makes
think
sense for us to just replace one by one?
it definitely would have, in my opinion, both of their experience and especially Rahane's quality in overseas test matches would have helped us. I don't know by how much, but it would have definitely helped us. And I don't know, honestly, how much cricket they have left in them, and when they want to, try and move away from the game. Maybe we are looking into the future, trying to trying to breed these young players into the team and try to get them into the setup because we have a World Test Championship cycle. It's just started, so maybe we wanna, look into the future and try to groom them. Um, so I couldn't really, I can't really say, oh, they should have played or, oh, they should not have played.
Hmm.
But I think this is just an attempt to try and look into the future and try to build a team which I think the same thing happened when when we were trying to phase out Sachin, Lakshman, Dravid, and all of them. I think that transition happened very very quickly, where everybody just started retiring one by one, and we had to scramble for spots, and that was a really messy situation. I think they're trying to avoid something like that while keeping some of the main players, having the youngsters play around them to see if they can groom them into test match cricket. So yeah, it's just uh, it's, I wouldn't say it's a good move or a bad move, but I think it's just an attempt to secure our future. And nothing to take away from the talents of Pujara and Rahane. Their form has not been great of late, yes, but they're still playing really well in domestic cricket.
Domestic,
Pujara just
yeah.
scored a century in Ranji Trophy. So they're not out of the setup yet, but I think it's just trying to see what best resources that we have at that point and try to give the youngsters a chance as well. So yeah,
Okay, I think so. If I understand,
Pujara and
yeah,
Rahane
if I
might
understand,
be back as well for the next tour. We never know.
okay, yeah, if I understand correctly, since we are in the really early stage of this cycle, you think they are okay with experimenting a bit more than what they would have done if it is in the
Yeah.
later of the cycle. Okay, all right. So are we moving to the second
Yes,
game?
let's go to the second game.
Should we talk about the pitch or the game?
We'll talk about the game first. I think I don't want to take away any credit from how we played. I think
Uh-huh.
I don't want to, yeah, like I said, I don't want to take any credit away from the way we batted and bowled in that game. I say batted, we've only scored 200 odd runs, but in that pitch, scoring that much even seemed a big deal.
Mhm.
Siraj, man, wow, oh my God, what a spell! That I think when Siraj gets into that kind of groove, he's unplayable. Like
Mhm.
we've seen it in Asia Cup and when against Sri Lanka and all of that. He has that spell. When he gets that groove, he bowls some unplayable deliveries.
Mhm.
He got assistance from the pitch, yes or no, but the way the lines and lengths he hits, just unplayable. Brilliant bowling in the first innings.
in in the 2023 itself, this is the third time we are getting a team down at 55 or less, right? Because I think we
Hmm.
got 50 all out, 55 all out, and then now another 45 all out. Those two in ODI, now it's in Test. It's been exceptional. All three times Siraj was the bowler,
Yeah,
as you mentioned. Really good to see. I think this is what he was doing in domestic circuit. That's why he was rated high on the red ball cricket for Indian team.
exactly.
That's why he was brought in, and it. I think with age, with experience, hopefully he can replicate this more often. He doesn't have to take five for every game, but at least get uh, get his average game up, which makes these kind of games exceptional.
Yeah.
That's the hope. Probably in the next 2-3 years, I'm seeing I'm hoping for a better version of Siraj in every game.
I mean, these bowlers, right? I think when they started off with, especially like a bowler like Siraj, they started off with white ball cricket. They got
Mm-hmm.
hit. They went for runs in IPL. They went for runs in international white ball games. People started calling them and all of that. But they had really great red ball potential. Even when discussions with friend circles, people were trolling Siraj. I told my friends, listen, guys, I think this guy is a red ball bowler because the lines and length he bowls in one day and test match, if he bowls in red ball, he's going to get 5 wickets, 6 wickets. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Especially, in the first day morning in a pitch like this, he's going to be unplayable. And that's what exactly happened. I think Ashwin, in his videos, I'm going to refer to him as well because he talks a lot about having a good county cricket experience, first class cricket experience to be able to get successful in test cricket. And that's I think that's what Siraj has done and he's reaping the rewards right now. Exceptional bowling from him, very well supported by Bumrah and Mukesh Kumar. Also another guy who's done so well for Bengal in first class cricket, in
Mm-hmm.
red ball, Bonaji trophy and everything. Gets a chance in international arena, bowls phenomenally well. I think, yeah, IPL
So
and
he got
all.
a 2 for 0 in this game.
Yeah, yeah. And then in the second innings as well, he bowled exceptionally well.
Yeah. I think we did not talk about Mukesh even in the ODI and T20. He
Hmm.
was uh, one of the two players who were in all three squads,
Yeah,
and we talked about him a little bit before the series itself. So it was really good to see how well he
I,
played, even though he went under the radar mostly.
yeah,
It was for a debut or almost in the beginning stage of his career. It's been exceptional that he was able to uh, get to this international level,
yeah,
probably because, as you mentioned, because of his plethora of List A cricket and Ranji cricket experience.
yeah. I think I told you, in the episode. I told you, like, how did this guy just come into all of our formats team somehow? But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just like you said, after what he did in first class cricket, and it's showing he bowled really well in the Test series, especially in the second game. Uh, After bundling them out for 55, we started really well. Our batting when I think up until that unimaginable collapse, we batted
Collapse.
really well. We looked as though we were going to take the game away from South Africa. Rohit Sharma looked at his best, very fluent, seven boundaries. Shubman Gill looked at his, looked very dangerous as well. Virat Kohli, as usual, looked very, very solid. And then that collapse, oh my God, what the hell was that? Losing 6 wickets for 0 runs. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
So when I saw that pull from Kohli to six and a four on the same over of Rabada, I was
Yeah,
like, okay, we are getting there. We are gonna go to 200 or 250. And then I think 1 hour later, the next 2 overs he got okay, three down and then three down. Okay, done. Let's go home. I was like, okay, what did I just saw? You just blink and then the game was over. The
yeah.
innings was over. Um, it was I don't
I
know
mean, I
brain
saw
fade
the
moment.
scorecard, late night game as usual. So I woke up and saw the
Mm-hmm.
scorecard, and for a moment I thought there were 3 or 4 days completed in the test match because 3 innings have been already, 2 innings have been
Mm-hmm.
completed, 1 innings have already started, 23 wickets have fallen. I thought it was probably day two. But then I realized, oh, it's the
Yeah.
first day, and then I was like, what the hell happened in this test match? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, a very fast moving test match. Yeah, that collapse, maybe brain fade. Some of the balls were unplayable. Just spring, just bouncing, viciously off of a good length. So I think, yeah. But again, we bowled well in the
And
second
also
innings.
the bowlers were really tall and their height definitely helped a bit more.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the South African
yeah,
bowlers, and with that, all the bounds and their height, it was yeah, it was unplayable for
yeah.
sure.
And then Bumrah.
But
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. But as I was also trying to move to the second
Yeah, yeah. Second
innings.
innings.
Bumrah bowled exceptionally well. This was like icing on a cake for him. He he was playing really well. He played really well in both the games, in all innings. However, he did not get the wickets that he deserved for the way that he bowled, and I think he finally got his six for in the final innings.
Yeah.
I was definitely happy for him. He deserved that for the way that he bowled especially in the first innings of the first game.
Yeah, totally, totally. I think he was the
Yeah.
standout bowler for us throughout the series. This is the best we've seen him. I think we've used to see, I should say, this is
Mm-hmm.
the best of Bumrah that we've been used to seeing for a while now. And it's brilliant, good control, line and length. Except for when Markham decided to take the attack to the bowlers. They all look brilliant, but I think another 100 by Markham. I think this will go under the radar because South Africa lost, but I think that was one of the finest test innings, like maybe ever. I don't know, considering the pitch, considering the quality of the bowling, he played a phenomenal innings. And strike rate over 100 in a test match. So, it's brilliant, brilliant batting from Markham. I think we
Yeah,
got him in the
I
right
think
time.
yes, for sure. So when I saw at the end of the day one, when Markram didn't get out, considering the previous three innings or two innings, because they only batted once, he didn't score much, and even in the ODI he was struggling, and I was kind of surprised that he didn't get out in the first day. So I was slightly thinking, what if he gets going? Because we all know once he gets going, he'll be unstoppable. And the next day morning, it was like late night for us, of course. So when I woke up, I saw he scored 100, and I was like, okay, that's what I thought. That's what I was afraid of. But luckily, we had a 98-run lead,
Yeah,
which helped, and that made our chase a little bit easier. And of course, our batsmen just came in all guns blazing. They didn't want to just try to get run tried to be cautious or anything. They were like, let's just go for it. It's just 80 runs. We can get it.
I think that's the
Even if we
right
lose a couple of
approach.
wickets
Yeah, I think that was the right
in this
approach.
pitch.
Yeah, because that the pitch was very unpredictable. You might just get one with your name on it. So if you're going out, why not go out swinging? And that's exactly what happened. And credit to the batsman for coming up with that approach. SSP Jaiswal came in, blasted the boundaries, and as soon as that happened, as soon as we went off to a flyer, we knew okay, this game is settled now. If we had lost a couple of wickets quickly without scoring a lot of runs, it would have been a tricky chase, but um, we,
Yeah,
we won it. And
I think
how
it was an
often do we say a chase of 80 can be tricky, right?
thanks to the pitch. Maybe
Yep.
sometimes in the fifth day of Indian pitch.
That too, even that, I think, yeah, we've talked about, how turning pitches and all of that, but even in those pitches, even if India is bowling and an opponent is batting, if 80 is the target, we would say, okay, it's the opponent's game. No amount of Ashwin or Jadeja magic could stop them from 80 if they apply themselves. But in this pitch, even if you apply yourself, trust. I mean, some of the wickets that India lost were to good balls. I agree, but they they didn't play away from the body like they used to. They were playing well within their body, very compact, just bounced off with your glove, and then pops up for a catch in the slip cord. And it's just, I think Ashwin showed the pitch in his video. It had like dents in them, like what the it's unimaginable. It had like dents in the pitch. It had cracks that where if the game had gone on any longer would have opened up and very dangerous. And I think again, once again, Ashwin mentioned that in India the pitch is, however turning it may be, the ball turns at 80, 90 miles an hour. Here it turns, literally turns 140, 130 kilometers an hour, and like that's just very dangerous conditions. And very surprisingly, nobody has talking about the pitch. If a game gets over in 1.5 days or 2 days in India, Nagpur, something like that, everybody gets on Twitter, has their opinions about, oh, how it's a bad pitch, it's bad for cricket, why is the spirit of cricket and all of that. The entire test series got over in 4.5 days, not even the length of one full game.
I remember, I
Absolute
think
radio
Sean Pollock
silence.
mentioned, yeah, Sean Pollock mentioned we should have played 3-game test series because we have 5 extra days.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was a very well played game. I completely agree with you on the pitch. I don't know I don't know when people are going to change their opinion, but since the big teams like England and Australia, they were the big out of big three, except India, England, and Australia. The other two teams, and they have seaming pitches, and they are not good in playing spin. So they are always going to criticize Indian pitch because they cannot play spin. At least that's my opinion.
I think
you know.
I would like to say one thing. We're running a little over time, but I want to impress upon this. One thing that I want to impress upon, like I said, England and Australia have seaming pitches. South Africa, all the SENA countries have seaming pitches. We know this fact for ages now that they have seaming pitches. We've had our own shares of struggle when we go there. But right now, what we've done is we've learned from those failures, and we are going there and competing, giving them a run for their money. In many cases, we've won the series. We've gone to Australia, beat them there. We've gone to England, beat them there. It was a drawn test series, but we almost beat them there. We went to South Africa. We've drawn a series here. We've learned from it. How long are these touring countries coming to India? Right, 60 years, 70 years. Which nothing has changed in the pitches. Nobody has learned. Nobody has developed their team in such a way that they could go to these conditions and compete. And I don't know why they're complaining about it when the same status quo has remained for years. And you all have not been competent enough to bring players to challenge us. Whereas we go to India, go to South Africa, England, New Zealand, Australia, challenge them. And then people
Yeah,
talk about India being an underachieving side in sport. that's total utter pile of crap.
Yes, I think I still remember that 2014 game again in Lords on a lawn-like pitch, green lawn-like pitch, where Ajinkya Rahane scored 100
Yeah,
on day one,
we won the
and we won the
game.
game.
Seven
Yeah.
seven four from
So
Ishant Sharma. Even when we were in our
yes.
worst patch, when we were going to overseas countries, getting slapped left, right, and center, we had games like those. In 2008, we
Mm-hmm.
had a great series in Australia. 2004, Sachin Tendulkar went there to Australia and showed Australians how to play in those series. So we've done that
Mm-hmm.
historically, and none of these players, I think, you know, if I talk to my dad and my grandfather, they might be able to point out a few players like Dean Jones who have gone, come to India and compete. Maybe even the Australian golden era of Matthew Hayden, all of them. They've been able to come here and compete, but since then, nothing. Like nothing has changed. And all I hear is complaints about the pitch when you're not competent enough to play. And like Ashwin rightly pointed out, this Indian team says nothing about the pitch. Okay, this is the pitch that we've got. We've got to go there and win this game, and we got to do our best. And that's the approach that they're taking. Kudos to them for that, and they've been able to achieve that as well. And it's high time the mindset from other teams changes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot agree more. And
Sorry, the last
yeah, we
few
should
minutes
probably.
felt like a rant, but I think I was building this anger in me, especially after the comments saying that India is an underachieving side. I actually pulled out statistics from ICC tournaments and everything. I think last four World Cups, if I have to say, starting from 2011, there were about 45. India played about 45 to 50 games. We've lost only about four of them. Unfortunately, those losses came in the finals or the semi-finals. We've been absolutely brilliant throughout. And mind you, these World Cups were played in different conditions. India, Australia, and England. So we've been great in all those conditions. And unfortunately, our losses come in uh, the knockout stages. And yeah, I think that's something that we definitely need to work on. It's not as though we just go there and have an off tournament. Every team has had an off tournament in that period. So England had a horrible 2015 World Cup. Australia didn't have as great as a World Cup in 2019. England again had a shocker of a World Cup in 2023, and India has been very consistent throughout. And if somebody wants to talk to us about underachieving, yeah, sure, I can. Yeah, let's go for it.
Right, that's a lot of
Yeah.
strong points from Abhi. Should probably
I
wrap
mean,
up
I
this
mean,
episode.
I'm
We'd
fuming.
like
Yeah,
to.
I'm absolutely fuming. I think it's better that we stop the episode right now, or else I might throw in a few expletives.
All right, so why don't you wrap up the episode?
Yeah, I think
I personally. Yeah.
overall, I think it was a very good tour of South Africa. I think we won the T20 series, won the ODI series, went
We
there,
draw the T20
drew.
series
Oh,
and
because
won
the
the ODI
one
series.
game was
Yeah,
rain. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we drew the T20 series. Sorry. We won the ODI series, drew the Test series. Overall, we unearthed some new wonderful players, and we had some, our usual star players play like they are star players. So yeah, good series. I think we're back to the top on the ICC WTC points table. We have a few home series coming up, so we're going to build on that. Yeah, very very exciting 2024, especially. Happy New Year to the viewers, but a lot of cricket to be played in 2024. Uh, Hopefully, this win against South Africa starts a winning streak for us and puts us in good shape. Yeah. And we'll be back with a new episode soon.
Yes, Happy New Year, everyone. We are also planning to have a special episodes on IPL. You will hear about it soon from us. Thank you.